Yes, yes, I know. No, I'm not intending to say that. Hang on a second. Could I call you back on that? Yeah, I got a video to film, so, yes, it's on the computer game again. What? Oh, it's called Killed Until Dead.
RetroKork.
Killed Until Dead is a murder mystery game not too dissimilar from Clue or Cluedo if you're European. You have to find out all the details of a murder and accuse the guilty party before the murder happens. That's the twist. You portray the character Hercule Holmes, or Hercule Holmes, who apparently is the world's greatest detective. I assume you also have a British, Belgian accent. Even though I don't know how that would sound, probably a bit like Peter Ustinov, maybe. In Killed Until Dead, you have to solve a crime within 12 hours of in-game time by finding the culprit, identifying the murder weapon, the victim, the room it will happen in, and the motive. Without finding out the motive, and that's actually the important point here, there's no way you can solve this crime. The game itself is fully controlled using the joystick in port 2. The only keys you will have to use are F1 to restart the game, F5 to turn the music and sound effects on and off, and F7 to pause and unpause the game. But of course, the important question is, how do you go about this crime solving? There are multiple options for you, and they're explained in depth in the tutorial that is available in the game. You can read up on the participating parties, in this case in the folder called Files. You can eavesdrop under Surveillance, and to be honest, there you can even break into the rooms of the suspected. I'll talk about that in a minute. You can call any of the suspects to interrogate them, and people can call you. And ultimately, you can check your notes. So, you pick a case, read up on everybody, and decide to break into a room. Assuming it's empty at the time you break in, you have to answer a trivia question regarding crime literature, because that's totally not breaking immersion. The door opens when you answer the question right, but if you give the wrong answer, hotel security will stand guard and prohibit you from attempting another break-in for 10 minutes. From a break-in, you can learn about scheduled meetings, which can either spy on live, or you can record them onto tape by simply scheduling a recording session under Surveillance. Now, there's also something else to learn through a break-in, and that is a clue which will open the corresponding person to be more forthcoming with clues in the murder when you call them. You call them up via telephone. Strangely enough, though, you get to see their facial reaction. You intimidate them with knowledge that you've gained from their room, and then you can press matters by asking simple questions about the murderer, the victim, the weapon, or the room. The results of these questions can be clues that are weak and negative, or strong and reassuring and positive. If you fail to intimidate them into answering your questions, you can't talk to them for 10 minutes. If they need to hang up on you after you pressed them a bit too far, those 10 minutes also apply. When you're confident enough to confront someone, well, you call the suspect intimidate them into listening to you, and then go and confront them. If said person is the culprit, they will listen to your claims and congratulate you. But ultimately they will demand you provide their motivation as well. Which, admittedly, the motives are usually a bit on the sillier side of things. And should you fail to provide this, you're on the business end of a gun. Should you fail to solve the crime in 12 in-game hours, you're dead as well. Now, I've talked you through, the very basic gameplay. The game itself, it has music and uses jingles for pretty much everyone. Though the graphics, they're not necessarily the prettiest things I've seen, but it works with the cartoonish style they are going for. Now, besides the tongue-in-cheek aspect, you'll find a lot in this game. The cases, they're almost impossible to solve on your first try, unless you're a Cluedo expert, that is. The 21 cases should keep even a world-class detective occupied for quite a while, unless you cheat and basically look at the walkthrough and solve the crimes that way. And that's Killed Until Dead, a murder mystery game where the victims aren't dead yet and you try to keep them from that horrible fate and yourself as well. In 2 weeks we will again deal with a character named Holmes, because then I'll talk about 221B Baker Street.